the emperor and his son, who they say put the gospel narrative forth. I think it was Vespasian and Titus of the Flavians. Are you positing that assertion that the Flavians
Yes, sir.
created
Yes, sir.
narrative?
As strange as that sounds, yeah, Atwell and Hudson is another one. I've been all through that stuff. I've looked at the videos, and very recently, there's another scholar that has done a report on it. I've got that in PDF form. I'd like to share with everybody, and it goes into even more detail. When Atwell came up and wrote his book and came up with his knowledge about this stuff, he kept it very simple and restrained, actually held back because some of the stuff is pretty wild, and people really wouldn't accept it very well. But I am thoroughly convinced that is correct. I mean, it's really indisputable because you can line up Josephus, War of the Jews, and I think it's the Gospel of Luke. And once you line them up, they are completely in parallel. So you know without any doubt whatsoever. And the other thing that's interesting is you can do this yourself. You don't need Atwell's book or anything. You can go to the library, get Josephus's History of the Jews or whatever it is, and get sit down and do all this stuff yourself. It's a no-brainer.
So the first thing I would ask you is, are you familiar with Nero and the Fire of Rome?
I don't think I'm familiar with what you're talking about, the Fire of the Rome, but I don't have any details on it right offhand.
Okay, so Nero was the uh, last emperor in the Julio Claudian dynasty. That's the dynasty started by Octavian, who became Caesar Augustus, the first Roman emperor. He was the nephew of Julius Caesar, and he had a dynasty. I believe I want to say like four of them: Augustus, Tiberius, Caligula, and then Nero. So I might be missing one, but anyway, Nero was the last in that line. He was emperor from 58 to like 60, 65, 67, somewhere in there. And then you had, after his death or suicide, you had like it was like a civil war between like four emperors, and the Flavians came out the winners after that. But you had like three or four emperors after Nero's death, and you had like the civil war that they fought and all of that, right? Long story short, the Flavians came out on top and became emperors. They were generals, or the father was the general for Nero. So they start the Flavian dynasty. So here's the problem. Nero dies in 68, right? When Rome burned, who would you guess that Nero burned that fire on in Rome? That I'm asking you, Russ.
Oh, as I recall, is he the Nero was blamed for the fire, and I think they even tried to blame it on the Jews, didn't they, or the blue Jews or the Christians? I'm not that familiar with
Right,
that part
right.
of it.
You part right. Nero blamed the fire on Christians. So
Right.
again, Nero dies in 68. And let me see if I can find out exactly what year the fire was. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What was he famous for? So Rome burned. What year is this? It doesn't say what year Rome burned. Hey Darian, if you can, see if you can Google the fire during Nero's reign. The point is, the fire happened during this reign. He blamed it on the Christians. He dies, and Vespasian becomes emperor.
64, July 1864.
So it was in 64. Nero doesn't die to 68. Vespasian doesn't become emperor till 69 or 70. My point is, it would be a little difficult for the Flavians to invent something that already existed prior to their having took over. You see what I mean? So, in other words, if Nero blamed the Christians for this fire in 64, and the Flavians come into power in 69 after Nero's death, and they create the gospel and the Christian narrative, who were these Christians that Nero was blaming the fire on? Because from what history tells us is these were the men and women who followed and worshiped Jesus Christ. Whether you believe in his deity, him being a god, a deity, etc., or not, these are those people. And so what would the Flavians be creating if these people already existed in 64 and they don't come into power? Josephus doesn't come under captivity with them until much later, into their reign. Who would those Christians be that Nero blamed the fire on?
Well, we've been told a lot of lies with our history, I think, and one of the things is there aren't any Christians around until the death of Jesus, supposedly, and so as I understand it, it was actually the Jews. This is the War of the Jews that we're talking about, and what happened was that
during Nero's reign.
Well, Nero was. The fire was in 64, and the temple is said to have been sacked in 70, right?
Right.
So when the Romans sacked the temple, they made off with all the riches inside the temple, and they captured the scrolls too, and they took them out. They put all the riches out on display. Later on, they used the money to build the Colosseum, but they kept the scrolls for themselves and studied it. And then they discovered that the Jews had a writing style called topology, where they repeat things. Like Moses is lost in the wilderness for 40 years. Jesus is in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights, right? Tempted by the devil and all that story. So there's these repetitions that are part of this style of writing and literature that the Jews had. Okay, and after the Flavians, this is called the Flavian hypothesis by some people. After they had time to study the scrolls and stuff, and had won the war, they put out this version for us that's been updated and modulated, and it was the reason why the apologists have to apologize so much is that there's a lot of mistakes involved with trying to do this. The Flavians created Christ out of whole cloth, as far as anybody can tell. We go back and I have historians that just say there's just no evidence. There's just nothing there for a real Jesus. And then all the literature we have, they've got that stuff dated much, much later. So we don't have anything, any original documents. Everything's been created. And then it's been taken by the churches. This was sort of became a church state, as I understand it, and that's where our Roman Catholics developed from them. And so this was all developed much later. And
I got questions.
Hold on, sis, because we gonna get to Mika, but our brother had a question before me and Russell exchange. Go ahead, bro. You said you had a question for him.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him about the Gnostics. How does that play into the equation that he is proposing? The Gnostic, the Nag Hammadi, you know what I mean? Is that also something that you would exclude, or deem as something that is, conspiracy?
well, as I understand it, and is that there was all sorts of literature out there. There's, you guys probably know that there were all sorts of gospels made and Gnostic text made. This was just a big thing around the Mediterranean, just like having a savior God was kind of a big thing. It's just popularity more than anything else. So
well, we know that they say that the Coptics came a little before, or at least that's, if my memory serves me right, that the Coptics came a little before the New Testament. So I was wondering if you could speak directly to the Nag Hammadis and the Gnostics. Are they within that same timeline as the what's the guy's name?
Josephus, or
not Josephus. What's the guy that had the round table with all the guys from North Africa? It starts with a C. Forgot his name.
Constantine.
Constantine, yeah.
oh, Constantine was much, much later, as I recall. He's way in 300 and 400 or something
So
like
you
that.
would say them Gnostics came before them Gnostics have nothing to do with Constantine.
Well, there's quite a gap there. I think that the Gnostics came much before, and then when Constantine came about, he whittled it all down to just one official book, as I understand it.
Hey, so we're gonna get to Mika, and then we're gonna get to our brother Takari. And before we do, I still just want to keep everybody focused on the fire was in 64. Titus or the Flavian the Flavians don't come into rulership until 69. Now, again, it's unless we submitting to the fact that our brother says most of our history is incorrect. We know the history we have says these people who were called Christians worshiped Jesus Christ before the Flavians came into rule, before Josephus came under servitude in their house. And so if Christians pre-exist these individuals, we can't really say that they created them. But Mika, it's on you, sis. Good show tonight. I appreciate being
it's just a bit of a misnomer there to call these
Russell, we're gonna get back to you right now. We're going to our sister Mika Wash.
I just have some questions for Russell. What does he approve as official sources, like as far as, is it archaeological? Is it scientifical? I mean, scientifical, is that a word? Scientific? I'm sorry, I've been drinking. But what sources do you approve of the existence of Jesus Christ?
Oh, I don't, not at all. There's simply no evidence of him.
No. What do you consider as evidence?
Well, what do I consider as evidence? Well, there would be some sort of record, some sort of other source
What
to testify.
source would
No,
that
no,
be?
Mika, let him talk.
Because he don't believe the sources that's out there. So I need him to be specific.
I understand, but
source.
let him get out.
Archaeological or is
Mika.
it scientific sources?
Mika,
What sources
Mika,
do you
let
need?
him get out his response, and then
Okay.
you respond.
I just need to be specific. Don't tippy toe around it.
Don't, Mika. You can't tell him how to answer. You just gotta respond to how he answered.
Okay, because
It do sound like he's doing a little bit of buck dancing though, DMG.
I understand. I understand.
Because I can bring up some sources. I can
understand.
bring up sources, but I need to know what sources do you
Let him
use?
respond, and then you respond, sis. Go ahead, Russell.
I got my
You
sources ready.
turning up the temperature, Russell. You
Reloaded.
turning up the temperature, man. You
Fully
turning up.
loaded.
Mika, I must apologize. I'm not quite up to the task of communicating all this stuff to you directly. If you would look up the Flavian hypothesis and the Atwell thing, you're better off hearing it directly from the horse than me. I'm just kind of introducing this stuff to you as well as I can. And you're talking about the subject of having Christians. So when do the Christians come up? Well, it's kind of messy as far as I can tell, because the Bible we have has the Jewish literature that it kind of attached itself to, very much like how the Mormons attached their books onto the Christian Bible. And that's why it makes the whole scene of belief kind of a crazy, mixed up scene. Because all you have to do is go along and tack your book onto the other people's book, and you take over and abscond with it. Well, that's what the Christian Bible is. They took the Jewish writings, expanded on that, but they bent it to their will. They were the writers, so they could have Jesus say, "Render to Caesar." And when you start looking at it, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's in there. It's really full of really bad, nasty jokes. One that's recently come up into my knowledge was that foot and feet are euphemisms, quite often used by the Jews. And one of the stories that is in the Gospels is about the woman anointing Jesus Christ's head and washing his feet with her hair. That is just a really bizarre and weird story, and the Christian apologists will make up all sorts of stories to kind of get around that. But you can look up the euphemisms for yourself, and you can read the stories for yourself and decide for yourself. And that's what I am advising everybody. Don't take my word for it. Look for yourself.
All right, we're gonna go to Takari.
I've looked for myself, and I understand that and everything, but I just want to know from you yourself, who don't believe that Jesus Christ ever existed, what exact sources will prove for you? Is it archaeological, scientific? I mean, what physical source or whatever to prove that Jesus Christ exists that you would believe that he exists?
Well, to tell you,
hold on, y'all. We gotta go to Takari. You can address that when we get back to you, Russell. But right now we gotta go to Takari. We We got a lot of people on here that I got to get to. Takari, free smoke. You want to respond, or you got some free smoke of your own?
I want to ask Russell a question about the non-existent of Jesus Christ.
Hold
Okay.
on, real quick, Takari, real quick.
No, you good.
Why is everybody coming up here to get on Russell? What did Russell do to y'all? I just want to know.
He denied Jesus Christ. He denied Jesus Christ. He not supposed to do that.
I like the attention.
Russell, do you know these people? Did you take their lunch money when they was little?
I tell you, I'm good for your show, and I like the attention.
He trying to take Jesus from us. That's what he's trying to do.
Go ahead, Takari.
This is he got to get in where he fit in. We hazing him right now.
I got you. Go ahead, Takari.
Okay, so since you don't believe in the existence of Christ, I don't know if you're an atheist. I'm not going to make an assumption if you're atheist or school, any type of school of thought. But since you don't believe in the existence of Christ, and this is not to drill or nothing like that, because I ask this question a lot and I deal with dates. And I know you probably deal with dates too, because you seem like a historian. If Christ doesn't exist, then what type of dating system do you use to accurately date history and chronology? Because the dating system that's used today is based off the birth of Christ, and the dating system that they changed from the Christian era to the common era. Secular people did that because they didn't want to believe in a Christ. They didn't want to believe in a Christ, but the thing that they failed to do was they failed to change the whole concept of the dating system if they didn't believe in the birth of Christ, because it's still based off the birth of Christ. So I want to know, what dating system do you use if you don't believe in the birth of Christ?
I don't think they're really that connected. I'm not sure, but we could look it up in a few seconds here online. I think the dating system was changed much later, much later. The Gregorian calendar was the replacement, or it replaced the Gregorian calendar. I don't remember which. You could look it up in a few seconds. If you just put in Gregorian calendar, I think you would find it. They're not connected in my mind. The dating system and Jesus Christ are not connected.
Yeah, they still use like AD and CE. Yeah, they very connected. You got CE, AD, which is Anno Domini, which is Latin for the year of our Lord, and this is talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. And this is what a lot of people who don't believe in the existence of Christ use today, and still acknowledge the existence of Christ to date history. So they are well connected, even with the Gregorian calendar. Even though it took 10 days off, even with the Gregorian calendar, they're connected.
All right, so we're gonna head over. We got a couple of more heavy hitters on the panel. We got my man Kahani, my little bro, my capo regime, and we got my mans in them, Big Mutawa Mugabe in the building. Shout out to my brother right here in the STL, Joel Armstead, in the chat. Salute to my fellow October 14th baby. Honey, what you got to add to the conversation? Is all about free smoke. You got some free smoke of your own, or you want to respond to what you heard?
See, well, I was listening. I'm first things first. I'm very surprised at the fact that people of a particular descent are really trying to hold on to this historical person like this. I think it's kind of funny. But number two, what was number two? Dang, I really forgot what else I was gonna say. But you
either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I know exactly what I was about to say now. Sir Russell Shoot. Are you getting a lot of your information from the documentary called Caesar's Messiah?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just that was my question.
I'm sorry, y'all. Where do I find that documentary? I'd love to watch it. On what?
It's on
It's on
YouTube.
it's
Just
on,
type
it's on
in
YouTube, nigga.
Caesar's Messiah.
But everybody mute except for the person that's on deck. Go ahead, Con.
Oh, I asked my question because I saw that documentary. Like I know where he's getting a lot of his info from.
All right. We got Big Mudawa Mugabe in the building, and we got other people trying to get in. I keep getting that message. So if you're just listening and you're not really trying to respond right now, jump off and let somebody else come in. But if you are gonna talk, go ahead and stay on, and we'll just rock with what we have because we got a full house. And then whoever drop off, whoever jump on before we get off air, that's how to rock. But if you're not gonna talk right now, drop off and let somebody else come in. Go ahead,
Right,
Mudawa.
right. Hey, how's my audio, guys? Can you guys hear me pretty well?
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. First thing I want to say is health, wealth, and happiness to everybody within earshot of my voice. I want to get that out the way. First and foremost, as far as I think I'm gonna do this in reverse chronological order. I do have some smoke, but I want to address a couple things first. The first thing I want to address is Russell being on the panel and being an atheist. Just so you know, Russell, I'm probably I am an atheist as well. Been as such for probably closer to the better part of this whole millennium. And I'm saying that to say this. I don't think as atheists we lose anything by conceding to a historical Jesus. I think that we actually gain something as atheists by conceding to a historical Jesus because we get people in the frame of reference to say that this is a human being, this is a flesh and blood person. This isn't a magical person. We're not conceding to the divinity of Jesus. We're just conceding to the morality of Jesus. We're conceding that this man was born of a natural birth like you and I. This man had a mama. This man had a daddy. This man was born via sex. This man lived his life. He was trying to liberate his people. This man was eventually killed, potentially sodomized, and beaten by the Romans. This is what the narrative says. This is what the history says. And I don't think that we lose anything by conceding to that. I think that by presenting that to the people, we get them to stop looking at Jesus as being divine, but get them to look at Jesus as being a regular person, similar to when we look at the story of Saint Nicholas that morphed into being Santa Claus. We know that Santa Claus is fake as a $3 bill, but we know that Saint Nicholas, with the person that the narrative was embellished from, was a real person. And we have to ease them into that understanding. We can't just go in and rip their because they call him Christ. They call the man Christ. You know what I mean? That's huge. They call the man Christ. This is just a flesh and blood person. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is to Mika, when she was asking the man to present evidence of something that he feels doesn't exist. I'll let you figure that part out. How do you present evidence of something that you feel that don't exist?
That is not what I asked.
Well,
Mika, that's
everybody
literally
except the person on deck.
Can I speak? Next, DMG?
Right. That's
You're up
literally.
next,
That's literally what you ask. Now, for the smoke that I want
That's not what I asked. I asked the brother.
Sis, please practice a little decorum, sis. Please. Thank you, good sister. Now, back to what I was saying. The smoke that I want, the free smoke. If any creationist would like to have a discussion about creation versus evolution on the macro side, because I understand that a lot of you guys have finally conceded to micro evolution, but you're still scratching your head about macro evolution. If anybody wants to smoke about macro, please step up to the plate and I'll land the plane.
Buddha wise say free smoke for any creationist.
I battle.
And hey, look, we should have plenty of people saying they stepping up to the plate. We got
I step up to the plate.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Hold on, let me speak. Hold on, let me speak real
I
quick.
ain't scared of nobody.
Speak real quick.
We got Fabio, and then we'll get back around to you, Mick.
Please, because
All right,
you got
so
me wrong.
all
Go
right,
ahead.
so I've been hearing a lot of things, a lot of apologetics on both sides of the argument, and I'm a person that I've been wanting somebody to challenge two of the top scholars. Well, a few of the top scholars on this historical Jesus or mythical Jesus or whatever you want to say conversation, and hasn't no one challenged them. Richard Carrier and Raphael Lataster. I've asked people to read their books. No one's done it, so I'm not going to give my stance on it because I know what it is, and eventually the scholarship will flip towards me because it did so on Paul when I recognized that Paul was one of the biggest liars in the Bible and started speaking on that extensively, and then scholars picked that up. But that's another conversation for a different day. But on this right here, when we look at our ancestors, and I look at the literature, and I post a lot of things in the back chat, and Moody YU, y'all, I don't know if you've seen some of the things that I've posted about the literature and about reason and about how they applied that to Africans or people that wasn't Greek or Roman or wasn't from a certain area. And they said that if they didn't have this ability to reason about the spirit or the logos or however you want to term it, then they weren't human. Then when I look at all that and I take all that into account, I instantly say that these ideas were anti-African, anti-Black. And they were created to usurp and override the ideologies that they were encountering in Egypt and Ethiopia, in those areas where they were exposed to at that time. So when they usurped, when they made who is it, Horus or Heru Serapis, and
Osiris.
they were taking on Osiris Serapis, right? And they took on all. They were doing that. That was them deifying African gods. They were actually bowing down to African gods at one point. But then they said, no, we have to stop this. But that's another conversation that a lot of us don't want to actually get in and it actually goes into this conversation on anti-Blackness that I've been looking at, and the scholars have also been agreeing with me. And they've also said that Blackness didn't need whiteness. Whiteness needed Blackness to exist. And I posted that in the back chat also. So if you understand that, then you also understand that these Greeks, these Romans, they were coming into a world, they were experiencing a world where everything around them had color, or was melanated.
Can I address any of that the brother just said?
So we got Mika.
that did not look like them.
He
But
said
we're
I
gonna
was
leave that
next.
for another
He said I was
conversation.
Yeah, we got Mika next, and then we got somebody else that jumped on the panel, and then
All right.
and family. We
I'm
a
just-
little bit over an hour, and I told my wife I was only gonna do an hour, so we gonna wrap this up as quickly as we can. But Mika, it's on you, sis.
I'm not gonna get into the details of the Serapis and the Marapis and all them other people and the liberation and all that. I just was saying because Mutawa came in and he said I said something that I did not say. I simply asked the gentleman, what sources does he approve of? What sources based off of archaeological or scientific or literature, what sources does the man approve of so that I could bring those sources up? If you don't acknowledge any sources, then the whole conversation is null and void because you just don't believe in anything. So I'm asking, what if you're willing to read another man's novel and you go by that, but you're not willing to look at the archaeological, the scientific proof that I have to present, then your whole argument is null and void. That's
I'm
all.
running this shit. Sit
Well,
your
Mika-
$5 ass
Can
down
I ask you
before I
one
make
question,
change.
Mika? Can I ask
What?
you one question, Mika?
Yes.
Hold on,
Who
hold on.
wrote the hold on, DMG. I just want to know one thing real quick before I see if she's even ready for this conversation. Who wrote the Gospels?
Who wrote the Gospels? It was a numerous of people that wrote the Gospels as witnesses in their own personal testament.
Okay, so Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John did not write the Gospels, right?
Right.
That's up for debate, depending
No.
on.
Hold on,
No.
wait,
Let me
wait,
answer the question. Let me answer the
both of y'all. Hold up. Y'all have my word. We can set this up for y'all to have this conversation. Mika and Sabio, who wrote the Gospels? Y'all have my word. If y'all want to do it, we can do that. But right now, but hold on, Mika. Hold on. We got another panelist we need to get to, and I need to get upstairs. Y'all heard that song by Ray Charles, right? You know, the nighttime is the right
handle your
time.
business, OG.
You understand? So we got is it Mike? You got free smoke in your own, or you want to add to the conversation?
Hey, DMG, how can I contact you, brother? How can I contact you to set up a debate?
I'm gonna put my email in the private chat, bro.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, how y'all doing tonight, man? I just wanted to show because y'all was just jumping on my boy Russ, man, just because he was throwing out some information. But back up to this part where y'all were talking about how we record the dates on our calendar, which is absolutely incorrect. The reason why we changed it from BC to AD is because the Romans actually established that calendar. What we actually use multiple calendars today for. I was used to be in the military. We actually use two different types of calendars. We use the Gregorian calendar, and then we also use the Julian calendar. The Julian calendar is just strictly 365-day calendar. There's no months, no days, no anything else applied to it. You just write down how many number of days has passed since the beginning of the actual solar year. So right now we're actually using what's called BCE, which stands for Before Common Era, and CE, which is Common Era, which is basically the same representation of what we were using for BC and AD. But the main reason why they changed that is out of respect for the entire world, because it's not just about one religion, it's not just about one culture, it's about us keeping track of our existence. See what I'm saying? This is the reason why they changed it, because there were so many people like Muslims, and then you actually have people over in Asia that don't even use the same calendar that we do, even today. So they had to change this to make it more acceptable to the whole population, not just one population, not just one group that wanted to assert themselves as being the dominant. So that was my thing on it.
Oh, okay. And hold up, Takari, because I got to get out of here. So I want everybody to take like 10 seconds and close out. I'm gonna start with Russell because Russell is the one who kicked everything off. Russell, you can put your email in the private chat, and so people can contact you, or you can contact me, and we can set up a potential conversation. You definitely invited back, but close out. Let everybody know where they can find you, how they can contact you if you interested in that, and come back anytime for some more free smoke.
Well, thank you very much. It's been really a good conversation, and I wanted to try to address Mika as well as I can. I have watched a lot of History Valley is one YouTube channel, and there's another one too. I'm not thinking of right away, but I wanted
maybe Myth Vision.
Myth Vision is the one. Yes, exactly. And then the other thing I wanted to tell her is to look up Rabbi Tovia Singer. And I think he's very credible. The guy strikes me as a complete genius. And he was also saying something about Paul being a liar. So I want to throw that out to you.
I'll send you some of his stuff, Mika.
Thanks.
Tovia Singer got a lot of content out there. I'll send you some of his stuff.
I'm definitely going to watch it because I love going down the rabbit hole. I love that stuff. Anything y'all recommend, I will watch it. And I will come with my commentary. However, I would like to say this. I will beat each and every one of them. That's why what are your sources? Because if you don't do nothing, you can't stand for nothing. If you say, "Oh, a book that a man wrote," ain't it? But then I cannot accept the book that a man wrote is it. So that's why I asked that question, not to be confrontational, but what sources would you approve? If I had to prove that Jesus Christ existed, what sources would you approve?
To make Jesus Christ exist?
No. I don't want y'all to get into a conversation right now because I gotta head upstairs. But again, I would love to set up a future conversation between y'all. So Russell, I think you got my email. If and Mika, we could work it out. So if y'all want to have a conversation, or Mika, if you want to have that conversation with Sabio, we can definitely set that up.
As long as they respectful, they don't call me on my name and don't come for me and my family, and we keep it.
You know if it start going like that, I'm just gonna kick them off. So
yeah, as long as it's a mental conversation of philosophy and ideology, we good. But beforehand,
but I tell you, like I tell my daughters, sis. I tell my daughters all the time, don't hit no boy thinking he won't hit you back. So if you don't want that type of energy, don't give it.
No, definitely. I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm not trying to force feed nobody nothing. You know what I'm saying? But if my position is to prove that Christ exists, I will prove it. And then, but that's the reason why I asked, what sources would you approve before I even go in my bag? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be like, I need you to stand on your shit and say,
tell the people where your channel is and where they can find you, Mika.
I'm Mika Wash on all social media platforms. MEIKAWASH. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok. That's on Facebook. That's on YouTube. Mika Wash. Look for me. I got my own LLC, Undefined Entertainment, and we moving forward and we moving towards the future. We in the age of Aquarius, and yes, I'm an Aquarius, so I got that future knowledge that you don't understand, that you're gonna be talking about 20 years down the line that I already spit.
Our sister Mika. Takori. And y'all check her out over on the Whole Effing Show. And like she just said, she got her own platforms as well. Takori, close this out as quick as you can. Let everybody know where they can find you, including right here on Paradigm Shift TV 314. Go ahead, bro.
All right, this is your boy Takori Dawson. Shout out to DMG and the whole entire crew. Shout out to the Craigs for the Whole Effing Show. Shout out to them boys. Them boys been doing their thing. That motivated me to bring up my new platform. I got a new platform. It's gonna be called the Takori Dawson Show.
Okay.
And on my show, I'm gonna be decoding movies, old cartoons, lost media, sciences, cosmology, Hebrew cosmology, all that. So yeah, these shows gonna be. These streams gonna be long too, because I've been trying to do this for a long time. I just needed to figure out how to upload my videos on YouTube. Now I can do it. Now everybody is in trouble. But yeah, my channel is Takori Dawson TV, also known as the Takori Dawson Show. My videos gonna be uploaded. Shout out to the brother Russell for showing up, and shout out to everybody on the panel for showing up. That's it.
That's what's up. Our man Takori, y'all go subscribe to his channel, support the brother, and we're gonna move on to our brother Mike.
All right, fellas. I really just appreciate y'all just being able to come in the last little bit. I was able to listen to most of the conversation. Real good topic. So saying, you can find me on Facebook, Michael Everett. I also have a YouTube channel, Tiger Hunter 09. You can find that. Right now, really not doing too much on the videos, but I'm probably gonna be getting back into it. How you doing, Sister Mika? Just talked to you earlier tonight. I was catching your other show. So
Mike, you gotta come on my next show next week for sure. And any panelists that want to join my show Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time, Pacific Time. I'm tripping. I've been drinking. But 7 p.m. Central Time, Pacific Time, Wednesday nights. You guys look out for me. Thank you, Mike. I love you, bro.
I love you too. I'll definitely be there for that one.
Yeah, Mike, we appreciate you jumping on. And last and certainly not least, the mighty Mutawa Mugabe.
Hey, man. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you notice, DMG, nobody wanted to touch that macro evolution conversation. They got shook in their boots.
The GT watching, man. You might have a huckleberry. Don't think you don't just yet. Yet.
GT don't want no smoke on that topic. None of them do. Like, GT got bigger fish to fry. He's got to worry about the Christians that don't believe in young Earth creationism. They need to hash that out first.
That'll be a nice discussion. That'll be a nice discussion.
That's the thing that he needs to just concentrate on. The Christians that are regular Earth creationists and the young Earth creationists. That's his lane right there. Once you start talking about science and evolution and macro, he ain't ready for that yet, because he's going to go into some stuff he's going to go into some scripture that has nothing to do with science. But anyway, the second thing I wanted to say, so Russell, now a man of a free thinker, I would love to sit down with a fellow free thinker and discuss this the historicity or the historical Jesus, to see if we can If you can convince me that he's not a historical person, I'll change my mind, because I'm an atheist that, like I say, that I wholly believe that the man was a real person. And if you, as a non-believer, because you're not going to use scripture, you're not going to go through any magic tricks and try to say, well, in the Bible it says, so we can have that dialogue. And in any other non-believer free thinker, Kawani, you, Sabio, you, I want to have these conversations. And the brother Sabio made a comment about it, and I'm wrapping it up right quick. Brother Sabio made a comment about the Greeks and the Romans trying to take away the blackness from the Africans. And I although I somewhat agree with that, I kind of like don't agree with it, because I don't think they had a conceptualization of race and ethnicity the same way we have a conceptualization of race and ethnicity. The reason I say that is because we know that the Greek gods are based on the Kemetic deities. We know that the Greeks and Romans, there was times when they actually, like you say, they worshiped the Kemetic deity. So it wasn't like they just was like, oh no, we ain't messing with that African stuff. That it was never a time like that. This is just the morphology of this religion. It goes from traditional Mediterranean religion that encompasses stuff from Sumer, encompasses stuff from the Nile Valley. It goes into their own rendition of it with Greek mythology. Then it transforms into the early stages of Christianity. That's why we see so much similarities. These things this is just the way humans are, but I'm not gonna go into detail about that. I would love to have a conversation and we can chop it up, and nothing contentious, just, change my mind about Jesus. And that's what, in closing, I want to say that. And as far as where to find me on social media, I'm the omni atheist. I'm everywhere at all times. So all you gotta do is look for it. All right, thank you, brother.
That's facts, no doubt. So family, hey, my man Russell came in, stirred the pot, and now we got us something cooking. So we got potential conversations with Russell and Mika and Sabio, Mudawan Russell, Takari, and whoever. So we got some things loaded, and I want to point something out for people that was watching. My man Sabio came in here. He had a conversation with me. He had conversations with other people. It wasn't no rah-rah. He wasn't getting upset. He wasn't getting loud. He was cool, calm, and collected. So I think it's time to acknowledge that the days where my brother was exploding out of frustration may be over. And that might be a little scary for some of y'all. So I just want to put that out there. Like, that cool, calm, and collected Sabio is a problem. I'm just telling y'all. So with that being said, I still want to have a conversation about Christianity not being forced on our ancestors, and I have specific reasons as to why I say that. My man Yasha, the elite Hebrew, as I proudly dubbed him, said Jesus didn't exist. I would love to have that conversation with my brother. Maybe my man Mudawa could moderate. But I'm just throwing it out there. We got a lot of potential conversations that we could have. I want to shout out Russell for coming in and stirring the pot. And everybody that put their information out, support them, subscribe to them, follow them, etc. And we'll be back at it again, family. It's Paradigm. Oh, real quick, shout out to my man Elder Yara in the building. Appreciate you coming through. Shout out to all the usual suspects, my man Rasta Man, and everybody else that came to support Free Smoke Friday. I'm gonna try to do this every Friday. Hopefully next week it'll be a little bit earlier. But it's free smoke. You can bring your own smoke, or you can add to the conversation and the smoke that already been laid out. And with that being said, I'm gonna get on upstairs and I almost said worship at the altar, but I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
Do your due diligence. You gotta go do your due.
I ain't gonna say that. But we'll be black at it again, family, and I'm gonna go upstairs and make it do what it do. And y'all come black and check us out. Till next time, family. It's Paradigm Shift TV 314. It's your brother DMG. That's peace.
Peace and blessings.